These mist-covered mountains are a home now for me. But my home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you'll no longer burn to be brothers in arms.
My name is Dave Murray. I'm not a rock climber, I'm not a mountaineer. I have a terrible fear of heights, and I'm more inclined to stay at the Four Seasons than I am in a tent. I get vertigo driving across the Coronado Bridge in San Diego, but somehow I found myself in Talkeetna, Alaska, with a dozen other guys intent on climbing the tallest, coldest, baddest mountain in North America. Go figure, huh?
And though it hurt me so bad, in the fear and alarm, you did not desert me, my brothers in arms.
Of course, the reason I found myself in this crazy Alaskan climbing town wasn't really a mystery to me. Like so many other stupid things that I've done in my life, there was a single source to my stupidity. There was a reason. I call that reason my friend, Dave Myers. Myers is the kind of guy that my mother warned me about years ago. You know, I could imagine her saying, "If Dave Myers jumped off a bridge, then I guess you'd have to jump off a bridge too, right?" Or, more appropriately, I guess, "If Dave Myers climbed the biggest mountain in the world, then I guess you'd have to climb it too, right?" You know, I probably should have listened to my mom. Instead, I listened to Myers. The one smart thing that Myers did suggest was that we join a team led by Dave Hahn, one of the world's premier mountain guides.
I hope you're all going to work hard on this trip. Realize you don't have to work that hard. It doesn't have to be overdoing it all the time. We're all going to have days where we feel stronger. We're all going to have days where we feel weaker. And that's pretty normal. And you got to recognize that, respond to your body's need to take it easy sometimes. I don't need everybody pitching in as far as carrying a 120-pound load every day. I don't need everybody pitching in as far as taking the world's biggest snow hole every day. But I need everybody pitching in as far as the spirit of the thing goes. Some days you can contribute a lot physically. Other days you can contribute a lot by just keeping a smile on your face.
Let's meet the climbers and guides. We're rolling.
Okay. Possibility flying out this morning. It is 27th, 9 o'clock, Tuesday. And we're just waiting to get a weather report from the mountain here at Hudson Air. So we're fired up and we're ready to go. Nervous?
Yeah, how's it going? My name is Rob Fickman. I'm from Houston, Texas.
Okay, so Rob, what are you most nervous about on this expedition? Besides dropping your earplug?
I'm not really nervous. Fear doesn't really play into it for me. I expect that most of the other climbers and guides will look to me for leadership as soon as we land on the mountain. Just having lived my life, I guess this is my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that the women that I met in Talkeetna will suffer while I'm on the mountain. And some of them may actually try to...
From Chicago, and Rob's distracting me here with his backside.
With his antics?
We all know Rob, and he's my buddy,
Right.
going back about 6.5 years or so. And like I said at the first dinner that we had, I'm glad he's here, but I'm glad also that I'm sharing him with all of you.
Right.
Yeah. So
Maybe
enough about it.
I'm Bill Clapp,
Okay.
Gainesville, Florida.
And tell us a little about what you do down there.
I'm a pathologist, University of Florida.
Excellent. Okay. And any thoughts on the trip? Anxiety? Anything on your mind?
True.
My name is Carson. I'm the token European on the trip to Summit of McKinley, hopefully in a few weeks. So this is the tipping point for me. This will be the 4th out of the 7 summits, so if I make it here, there's no reason not to move on to the last 3.
Excellent. And if you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jeff,
And where are you from?
Castlegar, BC, Canada.
Okay, British Columbia, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So, how you feeling about the trip?
pretty good.
Pretty good. What's your biggest?
Kind of excited about the trip. Looking forward to it. I think it's a good group. I mean, a couple of exceptions. I feel strong.
Tell us a little about yourself there, Jeffrey.
So let's see. From Southern California, 33, engaged. Work with computers. Been doing a lot of mountaineering. I know I'm slow to acclimate, so I'm usually start out slow and end strong. Fortunately, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay.
I'm getting along with most of the people in the group. Dave's kind of pissed me off. I think one of them's coming on to me. Yeah, that's cool, whatever. I think this is going to be the first all-gay ascent of Denali.
Hi, I'm Scott Bergeron, Western Massachusetts, and after Jock's interview, I'm not sure I want to go either.
So what are you? So what's your biggest concern on this expedition here?
Oh, no one wants to be the weakest link.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. And I'm okay with the whole hibernation thing. Camp life, I'm good with.
Okay,
That part's
good.
okay.
Good.
The rest of it is, it's a scale having never worked on before.
Right.
I think for everybody except the guides.
Right.
That's a tough thing to prepare for, but
Good.
we've got a good team. I think we're ready.
Okay. Introduce yourself.
I'm Tyler Jones, guide RMI. Been here for this is my 7th trip on Mount McKinley, and looking forward to it.
Nice. And what route that you just?
My name is Mark Smiley. I'm from Gunnison, Colorado. I'm one of the guides, and it's my first time on Denali, so I'm super excited. Take a lot of pictures for back home.
Excellent. And just so sort of talk about some of your other climbs.
Okay.
One of our guides, introduce yourself.
Marcus Met,
And he's from.
living in Santa Cruz, born
Excellent.
and raised in Seattle, though.
Okay, good.
Both fantastic.
Always trust the Seattle guys.
That's right.
Okay, so just sort of tell us outlook for the trip and how we feeling.
Looking to get up to around 7,800.
Dave's our leader on this expedition. Dave, any thoughts on the trip?
I come for the food. Breakfast was great this morning at the Roadhouse. Had the full standard, almost finished it. Had great food last night at the West Rib. Big old cheeseburger. You can't get food like that at home.
No.
Only on a McKinley.
So I'm standing here with two of my teammates. Jeff is, if he summits, he will be the youngest Canadian ever to summit. And Rob, if he summits, will be the youngest gay lawyer ever to make it to the top of Mount McKinley. So I'm very proud to be with these guys.
I wish you wouldn't keep bringing that up.
After a couple of days of waiting around, the skies finally cleared and, well, we were ready for takeoff. Now, I've always said that the most exciting part of helicopter skiing was actually flying in the helicopter. Climbing Mount McKinley is no different. We actually fly onto the mountain, landing on a glacier at about 7,000 feet. Needless to say, it's the craziest flight I've ever taken. Yeah, thanks a lot, Myers.
Stretched to the point of no turning back. Flight of fancy on a windswept field. Standing alone, my senses reel. A fatal attraction is holding me fast. How can I escape its irresistible grasp? Can't keep
got above the airfield, I got my first look at the mountain from the backseat of the plane, and, well, it was ridiculous. We had to fly through a notch in the mountains called One Shot Pass.
Ice is forming on the tips of my wings. Unheeded warnings, I thought of everything. No navigator to find my way home. Unlaid and empty and turned to stone. A sole intention, it's learning to fly. Condition grounded, but determined to try. Can't keep my eyes from the circling skies. Tongue tied and twisted, just an earthbound misfit eye.
Pressure set. Mixtures bridge. Propellers flaps set to degree. Gauges and suction check.
The pilot told us to hang on. He was bringing us in for a landing, but hell, I couldn't even see where we were going to land.
I dream unthreatened by the morning light. Could blow the soul right through the roof of the night. There's no sensation to compare with this. Suspended animation, state of bliss. Can't keep my mind from the circling sky. Tongue-tied and twisted, just an earthbound misfit.
The only thing that went through my mind was, you got to be effing kidding me. Myers sitting at the tent for tonight. Dave, how's it going?
It's going good.
We would spend a couple days at base camp at 7,000 feet. Behind us, the front face of McKinley kind of just loomed over us. It was over 13,000 feet from where we were standing to the top of the mountain. The first couple days I was really happy to be there, and you know, I thanked Myers. Wow, this is great. Wow, we're at Mount McKinley. That was gonna change though. Of course, it didn't help that our first hour on the mountain, the U.S. Army had to fly in and rescue some poor guy who, I guess, had gotten altitude sickness. It also didn't help that I learned I was going to have to take a crap in a green bucket for the next 3 weeks.
All the late night bargains have been struck between the satin bowls and the bells.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna zig a zig.
On day 4, we finally started climbing. So where are we now?
We are at this is sort of the first move off of the glacier where we flew in, and we're at about 7,800 feet, just under 8,000. And we've been here for a day. We got a pretty good storm, dropped a few inches of snow, and as you can see from all around me, it's just unbelievable. Just a cathedral in this bowl that we're in. We're completely surrounded by mountains except for the glacier peels off down that way, and the glacier is just miles and miles long. So we came through that fairly heavily crevassed area. I think we have a little avalanche happening over here. Sort of a small avalanche has been happening most of the day. We're nowhere near where they're coming out, but they're definitely, the mountains are talking to us. And tomorrow morning early, we're gonna be making a push up that hill, so about a 1,700 foot climb, and we'll be pushing up to about 9,000.
Later that day, we got hit by our first storm.
Do you think this section is this bowl that we're in?
I'm thinking it's like 3 or 4 miles.
Yeah, it's a big.
The reason they call this Valley of Death, that's what Dave Hahn was telling me, was that it's not so much that the glacier itself is very dangerous, but it kind of goes in real tight, and there's these huge avalanches that fall off and will sweep all the way across the glacier on both sides. So you could be, traveling across the glacier and just have an avalanche. And if you listen, you can hear one right now.
Yeah, can you see it? So that's sort of the noises we've been hearing all day.
Yeah,
if you
all
could
day.
pick
There's
that
just
up.
been huge avalanches roaring down into this valley. It's a little unnerving.
Yeah, it's not your everyday sound in Southern California.
But we are definitely getting used to it. So.
Okay.
Scott, how many inches have we gotten? Total? 3 or 4. I was hoping he's gonna say 6. So we're digging out. McKinley's up that way where he's pointing.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna zig a zig. If you want my future.
So here we are in the fog. We're actually in camp, but The guides chose to make it more challenging and camp next to a crevasse. So Tyler is probing out the crevasse right here. We actually can't walk where those flags are, the wands.
Good times.
Tyler put a leg in when we got into camp and found it for us, so he's created a safe passage.
Go put the.
Tyler stretched out his drone. There, oh yeah, there it is.
Here, you should hear me that thing.
Keep running.
There it is.
These crevasses can be hundreds of feet deep. Fall in one and that's pretty much the end of your trip. That evening we broke Camp 2 and headed up to Camp 3.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil?
Lower on the mountain, I felt pretty strong, I felt pretty confident. I had done a lot of training, done a lot of snowshoeing at my home in Tahoe. Higher up on the mountain, though, my fortunes would change.
Hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the wall?
Dave Hahn masterfully led us through the crevasse fields and into Camp 3. As we got higher up on the glacier, the crevasses got bigger and gnarlier and nastier, and hell, you could drop a house into some of them. But the views, the views. Then of course there was Myers. He lost a basket on his ski pole and turned into MacGyver and grabbed a Folgers coffee cup lid and turned it into a ski pole, and hell, we couldn't stop hearing about that for the next 24 hours until he finally lost it.
Here we are, Camp 3, 11,000 feet. And tomorrow we're hopefully going to do a carry to 14,000 up that direction. Boys right there.
How can we help?
Tyler's getting his dinner. Jeffrey
No help!
is writing love letters to me.
Letter to, to you.
To me.
I'm just an aging drummer boy, and in the wars I used to play, and I've called a tune to many a torture session. Now they say I am a war criminal, and I'm
That evening we headed up Motorcycle Hill and up towards Windy Corner. It's strange climbing at 3 o'clock in the morning with a bizarre Alaskan sky above you.
Call it belief. I have a run with the money.
I looked back at Myers and kind of laughed. Like, I can't believe we're effing here.
Armies and my crooks invented memories.
As we got higher up on the mountain, the climbing got tougher and tougher, and I really started questioning myself, like, what the hell am I doing here?
The man's too strong.
In front of us was a team from Spain.
Well, I tried to be meek, I've tried to be mild, but I spat like a woman and assault like a child. I have lived behind walls that have made me alone, striving for peace, which I never have known. And I can still hear his laughter, and I can still hear his song. The man's too big, the man's too strong.
You know, it almost seemed like the higher up the mountain we got, the bigger the mountain got. We'd climb up 1,000 feet, the mountain would extend up 1,000 feet. It never stopped.
Well, the sun rose on the courtyard.
As we passed Windy Corner, the slope kind of fell off to the right of us and down into the Valley of Death, and this was another really dangerous part of the climb. As I was coming across Windy Corner, I stepped into a crevasse, and luckily I caught myself, but boy, it sure made me think.
Please help.
Okay, here we are. 13.5, doing a cache.
A cache is when we climb up 2,000 or 3,000 feet, dig a hole in the glacier, drop all of our gear into it, cover it up, and then hike back down to our camp, and then the following day come back up with the rest of our gear, pick up our cache, and make our way. I hate the cache. On our way back down to Camp 3, we got hit by another storm. The next day, we climbed back up to 13,000 feet, grabbed our cache, and then made our way to 14,000 feet and into Camp 4.
Okay, here we are, 14,000 on McKinley. There's Forker. That's Hunter, yeah? Right there?
Yeah. Hunter, Forker.
Hunter, Forker. We swing around.
If you look quick, you'll see the only girl on Mount McKinley. There she is. Whoops, there she goes.
How you doing?
World famous guides. There's Han over there, going to the boyfriend. There's the head wall.
I'm just an aging drummer boy.
We dug our tents in deep because we were going to stay here for a few days to acclimate before we headed up the head wall and up to the real part of the mountain.
And I'm fading away. Father, please hear my
Like I said, this was my goal, to make it to 14,000 feet. It was basically the highest I'd ever been on any mountain, so I kind of felt vindicated at this point.
I have legalized robbery, called it belief. I have a run with them.
It is a mountain. Walking up tall, rest stepping, and going, damn, this is a lot of work. I'm breathing hard. But yeah.
Cool. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be one of the toughest days. I feel like I'm ready for it. We're going to go from 14,000 to 17,000 foot camp with fairly heavy packs. We're bringing our whole camp up there. But I'm feeling good. I know that could change in a short amount of time, in an instant. But right now, I'm feeling good. There is one thing I'm surprised that I'm feeling, which I didn't think I was going to feel, is I think I'm starting to get a little summit fever. I don't know about you, Dave. But, I'm like, I want to get to the top of that mountain so bad. We've been through so much up to this point. I think we're 2 weeks into the trip, and to go through all this and not stand on the summit seems
painful.
like, oh God, like almost like it wouldn't be worth it. But we've got a beautiful day. If you look around here, there's Mount Foraker behind us, which we've been kind of hiking around that the whole time. There's some clouds rolling in, but up high, it's beautiful. The weather forecast is calling for, I think, some nice weather. That's basically the head wall up there that we're going to be hitting up tomorrow morning.
There it is.
Cool. This would be the last time that I really had a chance to relax and kind of enjoy myself, because the next day we would head up the head wall, come back down, and then the following day after that, head up again. And it was at the head wall where I guess they say that the hiking ends and the climbing really begins. And I can honestly say I haven't really done a whole bunch of climbing. A lot of hiking, but not much climbing. So the head wall was kind of an eye-opener for me. And once we got up high in the mountain, I really, really started to feel it. And I just wasn't the same person anymore. My adrenaline was really pumping as we put our packs on and roped up together and headed up towards the head wall. As we moved towards the head wall, I started to think about my climbing resume and how I really had no right being here. I had attempted Mount Rainier twice, got turned around twice, never made it to the top of Rainier. Had tried to climb Mount Hood, again got turned around at about 9,000 feet. A few months before this, I had attempted Mount Whitney, again turned around at about 13,000 feet. About the only significant thing I had on my climbing resume was Mount Rose at the north end of Lake Tahoe, but this was a whole nother ball game. This wasn't Mount Rose, that's for damn sure.
There should be laughter after pain.
God damn you, Myers, what have you gotten me into?
These things have all.
It just kept getting steeper and steeper and steeper and steeper.
Worry now.
We finally made it to the top of the head wall. Myers, what'd you think?
tough.
That was tough, huh? Woo. There were two parts to this climb that had me, well, a little bit worried. The first part was the summit ridge, which had a 13,000 foot drop on a knife edge corniced ridge, and the second part was called the 16 ridge, and it was the ridge between 16,000 and 17,000 feet. It was basically what we had to do after the head wall. The first part was pretty steep, but it wasn't really that exposed, and I felt pretty good and pretty comfortable. Like the head wall, the 16 ridge just started out pretty mellow, but then got steeper and steeper. As I came around Washburn's Thumb, I struggled up with the thumb just to the right of me, and I made the big mistake of looking back down, and it was a good 3,000 foot drop to the glacier down below, and it kind of freaked me out. I don't think I ever looked down for the rest of the trip after that. It felt good as we crested the ridge, but I knew the narrow stuff was still in front of us. And to make matters worse, the skies kind of grew a little bit stormy and the wind started blowing a little bit. Got it. We're walking the ridge, baby. Alright, get ready.
We are ready to pay with our lives.
If I don't say anything, it's because I'm scared fucking shitless. One slip of the crampon right here. I'm taking me and maybe my buddies with me. This is incredible though. This is what we came for, baby. Whew. It's dicey in here. Maybe 2 feet wide at best. Getting a good secure footing with the crampon. Hold up, hold up. Okay. It's sketchy here. Now remember, I'm the guy who gets vertigo driving across the Coronado Bridge in San Diego. But I guess I had mentally prepared myself for climbing across this ridge because I felt pretty comfortable. I just completely focused on my feet, completely focused on the ridge itself, not worrying about what was to my right, not worrying about what was to my left, but just standing on that 2 or 3 foot wide ridge line that lay in front of me. I knew that was the key. Much to my surprise, I made it across the ridge and successfully into high camp.
How are we doing?
Good. I'm sitting here at our high camp, which is 17,000 feet, thinking to myself that I should not be here. What I just did was not. But I felt pretty good about it. I didn't freak out. We climbed up the head wall, which was good. I had that under control. I think I had a problem with my pack. My pack was sitting funny, which was kind of causing me to hunch over. And we're going for the summit tomorrow, and I'm going to make sure that I really adjust my pack correctly and walk efficiently. I mean, I did pretty good. I felt really good up to about. We went up the head wall, and then the West Buttress, which is probably the scariest part of the whole trip. There was lots of times when we were hiking on a ridge that was literally this wide. I'm not joking. And I'm not very good with heights, and it was like, like Dave was saying, it was like a 3,000 foot drop on one side and a 2,000 foot drop on the other side. And, oof, it was scary, but I think as long as I can get some rest and really concentrate on being really efficient tomorrow, I think we got a shot at it. So.
Okay, we're at 17,000. The camera just shut down on us because there's not enough oxygen, we think. Probably the toughest physical day of my life. Today we had pretty heavy packs. We came up, how many vertical feet did we come up to?
3,000.
3,000. Very technical terrain. Washburn's Thumb, and you'll see some pictures of what we're talking about. Some of the sections were only no more than 1.5 feet wide, and it was a sheer cliff pretty much on either side. Tomorrow's summit day, hopefully, if we have good weather, it's going to be brutal. Like, everyone's pretty wasted right now. But hopefully with some rest, I'm not counting on much sleep, but maybe just laying in my bag for the next 10 hours. But it was pretty rough towards the end. I mean, we got here and it took everything we had just to set up our tents.
How'd you feel about the exposure?
The exposure didn't bother me too much. It was definitely...
It's exhilarating.
Yeah, it was definitely, you look down to your left and you'd see 2,000 feet. You look down to your right, you see 3,000 feet. So it was, it definitely got your heart rate going. But it was just it was an unbelievable day. I mean, no matter what happens, this day will definitely go down as an all-timer. So, we've got nice weather right now. As soon as that sun drops, though, it's probably going to be like 20 below zero. So right now we're enjoying it, and hopefully we have good weather tomorrow for summit day.
I probably read a dozen or so different climbing books about McKinley, and every one of them said the same thing about summit day, or actually they said the same couple of different things. First, they said it'll be the toughest physical day of your life. And second, because it's so physically and emotionally grueling, every guidebook said that you need to spend at least one rest day at the 17,000 foot camp in order to acclimate and get your strength back from the big push through the head wall and across the ridge. Evidently, though, Dave Hahn hadn't read any of these books because his theory was a little bit different. He said that, hey, if the weather was right, then go for the top. Screw the rest. Screw the acclimatization. If the weather gods give you a day, then by God, take it. Well, the weather gods gave us a day, and God damn it, we took it. Heading up Denali Pass was tough. I knew that this was one of the most dangerous places on the mountain. Over 40 climbers had lost their lives on this long traverse, most of them completely exhausted after a long summit day, stumbling in full view of the 17,000-foot camp below them. Of course, this lingering fear was tempered with the excitement of summit day. There was less than 3,000 feet between me and the top of North America. It was about the same distance from the village at Squaw Valley to the top of the Palisades, a climb that I could knock off in 3 or 4 hours. But this was a completely different 3,000 vertical feet. At this height, the air was so thin that every step was a struggle. Every breath had a certain desperate quality to it. It was kind of like drowning, gasping for air, but getting nothing. About 3 or 4 hours into the climb, I pretty much had all I could take. I mean, I was just spent, like I've never been spent before. God damn it, Myers. Somehow, though, I just kept walking. About 700 feet below the summit is a large, flat plateau, appropriately called the football field. It's usually the final rest stop before the final push to the summit ridge. It's also the place where a lot of teams and a lot of climbers turn around. From here, the exposure gets really extreme, and the weather can literally blow a climber off the knife-edge ridge, the summit ridge. It's also the place where exhausted climbers look at that final 700 vertical feet and just give up. I guess they just say, F it. I had promised myself that if I made it to the football field, no matter how I felt, no matter how exhausted I was going to keep going. When I finally did reach the football field, I was kind of pissed off. I was pissed that I made that promise to myself. I looked around at my teammates, and yeah, they looked tired, but they didn't look as tired as I felt. There was a part of me that was hoping that one of them would quit, that one of them would just give up, completely exhausted, and I figured that would be my excuse to kind of join the quitters team. I didn't want to start the quitters team, but if someone was willing to establish it, I think I would have joined them. Well, nobody formed the quitters team, so in less than 10 minutes, we all got up, dropped our packs, and headed up the final 700 feet. The last hour or so of climbing was pretty much an out-of-body experience for me. I was on complete autopilot. I have no idea how long it took us to reach the summit ridge, but it didn't really seem that long. Next thing I knew, I was climbing strong, but I had no idea where I was getting the energy from. At this point, we had been climbing for probably 10 to 12 hours. Can you imagine going to your local gym, getting on the Stairmaster at 7 o'clock in the morning with a 70-pound pack on your back, and then stairmastering for 10 to 12 hours till 7 at night, I think the owners of the gym would probably call the police or the SWAT team to try to talk you off the machine. Please, they'd plead with you. Get off the machine. It's not worth it. Think of your family. Think of your loved ones. But now I was just a few hundred feet from the top of North America, and I knew it, and there was nothing, I mean nothing, that was going to stop me. Just about there. As I crested the final ridge, Dave Hahn was there with his camera and a big smile on his face. Welcome to the summit, Mr. Murray. Congratulations, he said.
Myself, while the tears roll down, 'cause it's the world I know. Oh, it's the world I know. Sitting alone in New York City, and I don't know what. So I walk up on high, and I step to the edge to see my world below. And I laugh to myself while the tears roll down, 'cause it's the world I know. Oh, it's the world I know. Yeah, I walk up on high, and I step to the edge to see my world below. And I laugh to myself while the tears roll down, 'cause it's the world I know. Oh, it's the world I know.
Son of a bitch, that's a big mountain. Damn.
Look around me, I can see my life before me, running rings around the way it used to be. I am older now, I have more than what I wanted, so